It is a beautiful day for some DSA, and welcome back to the Cozy Club, my friends. I've been working on this specific video for quite some time. Now, we just got the update 13, just went live, and so much came with that. Actually, this week, if you're just chiming in, has been absolutely bonkers when it comes to content in Disney Sorcerer's Arena. Every single character got updates to all of their abilities. We had a brand level increase. All the notes are up in the video, up in the top of the corner. You guys can check out the new update if you don't know, and they're just coming back. But this video is going to be the top 20 characters that benefited the most from T7 and T7.5 abilities. Now, that is a mouthful, but in short, we got a new gear level that is between 7 and 8. And so we're calling it 7.5. And all these new characters got new abilities. Some of these characters, their kits changed altogether, while some not so much. But it's going to take tier 7, which, yes, it does take a lot of investment to get there, and that's why this video took so long. I want to make sure the characters that I recommend for you guys today are safe, cozy certified characters that you can invest in safely, that got big boost. Now, here's the thing. This list is not going to be the best new characters in the game, but this is going to be more of the best characters that benefited the most from this content update with new abilities and moving forward. A lot of these characters had not only their abilities changed, but more importantly, with the new 7.5 gear, they got new stats. And what does new stats mean? Well, speed is king, like we always talk about. And I want to get over to the characters as soon as possible, but I want to stress this as much as I can. Each and every point of speed added to a character is going to make them so much better. And we had some very slow characters and some not even so slow get a very nice increase to their current speed stats. So we're going to talk about, in general, looking both at abilities and looking at the speed stat, who benefited the most. Lastly, we got this whole document that listed each and every change to all of the characters. One thing that was not on the document is some of these upgrades were tier 8. Now, there are some characters. Let's take Anna, for example. She's not going to make today's list. Some things never change. Got a nice buff up to give frozen characters random magic, which was so, honestly, great ability. Anna is already great, and you guys know that. But for her ability, this is the way, guys. It added a plus 15% chance to decrease speed turn meter on the enemy team, which would have been a great opener and actually kind of ridiculous when T8 does come. But I didn't put her on the list because, again, this is gear that we don't have access to yet. All right, let's get right on over to the character list. You're going to see no Big Hero 6 characters, as I'm going to have a complete in-depth guide to them, which you can find out later, probably in the early week. We will dive into everything about Big Hero 6, who to go after, what abilities are the best, who are the best plug-and-plays, you name it, it'll be on there. Hit a like button. Let's see if we can get the... Let's make something fun out of this. Let's get 626 likes in honor of the blue little alien over there. Now, let's hop on over to the list. The first thing I want to note is these first 10 are in no particular order. Now, the later 10 that we're going to be talking about is 1 through 10, and they're in a little bit more of a fixed order. You can place them out a little bit, but in my opinion, these are the ones that change the most. These first 10, they are all great, and they all changed a little bit. Let's hop in and look at our first guy being Cobra Bubbles. Now, Cozy Club, what I want to tell you about his stare down, where he takes off the sunglasses and looks the enemy dead in the eye. Guys, it's ridiculous. It was pulling 35% turn meter from the enemy, putting silence and intimidate. You guys already know that. However, now what it's going to do is if Bubbles has tactics, he's going to be stripping 70% turn meter. He erases. You see people go from full turn meter like right here and then get stripped right away down to pretty much not even moving and having to get their speed all the way back up. It's an excellent ability to use at the start of the battle on someone like Elsa that you can keep her out of the fight that much longer. Now, you guys don't need me to convince you to get Cobra. You already know he's a great hero that you should be farming right now anyway. But let's go on to the next hero, and that's Dash. Now, Dash got 2 great ability upgrades. First of all, he's got some nice offense stat changes. And second, Dash is always going to be able to chain with his basic attack. And for this matter, and this is for another video, we're going to be talking about teams as a whole, but the Incredibles got a big change to them as a whole, and they're a lot more viable now. Definitely not top tier, but more fun to use. And the second thing I want to talk about is Dash's passive. He has an increased 5% added to his evasion on his passive. Every single charge stack that he has, he gains stacks of evasion, and it used to be 10%, and at 10 charges, 100% evade. Now it is 15%, and that is going to give him the option at 6 and 7 charges to be able to evade a lot more, making Dash live longer in the end of it all. A great update. Could have made the top 10. I'm going to put him right here just because not much changed outside of that. Great ability. Let's hop on to Ian. So Onward in general, you're about to see here right in a second. I am very excited and impressed with the changes that came to the Onward team. Now, they're already a great duo in Ian and Barley, and Manta Core got her adjustment. We'll get to her. But Ian, the primary attacker, got a great increase to both his basic attack, his first ability, and his passive is fine. His special is now going to do something absolutely nuts. Now, this special I don't have unlocked, so you're not going to see it in this specific video, but he's going to be spreading one helpful effect from himself to adjacent allies. Now, originally, this all was about spreading harmful effects on the enemy, but now it's going to be putting helpful effects on his allies. So if you have the Quest of Yore over to Ian, you're going to be able to spread most likely that critical power up or some of those better abilities right out the gate. Now, Violet is on this list because pretty much her entire kit changed. Now, let's first look at her passive. She'll be calling Dash to assist each time with her passive, but if you think about it, Mr. Incredible can do Showtime, and calling all the Incredibles, well, if they call Violet, she's going to be calling Dash, and as you know, Dash is a blast. He's ridiculous. Let's look at what else changed. Her special A. If this character is infected by stealth, shield is increased by 50%. Her shields are a little bit lackluster in general, so any buff up to that is great. The last two things is she got a nice bump up to both her passive and the You're Not Here ability. Essentially, she's going to put stealth up on herself, and she's going to have a 30% chance to gain an additional turn. Now, jumping over to the next hero, and again, we're looking at both speed and abilities. Not to mention, Violet got some nice speed buffs as well. The other ones did not. Simba, though, went from being one of the slowest characters, and that is why he fell out of the meta, to now having a plus 14 speed boost. That is more than a stone could ever do. Well, for the most part, especially for Simba. The other thing I like about Simba is he's going to have a nice touch up to his passive, and what I mean by that is, yes, it's going to call Rafiki to assist, which is still subpar because Rafiki is still pretty much trash, but we'll see if he bumps up. Simba, however, everything about him is based on his defense, and the good news about this is Simba's defense is going to be rising and rising with the new T7.5 and even more with T8. Anyone who has something that happens with a percentage of their stat immediately is going to gain great value out of these new gear changes, because Simba is going to be even harder to take down, and I hope this is just enough of a push to get the King of the Jungle over to the meta. And lastly, a quick mention about his basic ability. Yes, you won't be doing basics all of the time. However, since he does survive a lot, you'll be doing it more than you think. His basic now has a 45% chance, flip of the coin pretty much, to remove 30% speed meter from the enemy. 30% is a good chunk of change and not to be discounted. Genie is going to be quick, easy. Let's just talk about it. He's a kingdom character and already has an incredible kit. You guys have seen the Aladdin videos. You've seen me talk about Genie. Genie got a plus 14 on his speed, and that, my friends, is enough to make this list. Under a Shan Yu lead, Genie will be very fast now, flipping buffs, silencing the opponent, stacking those adjacent attacks with the Peter Pan Shadow more and more. This is exactly what Genie needed, and he is a very safe bet to invest early game, mid game, and late game. Now, Hades was probably the closest of making the top 10 that didn't quite cut it. Hades got a big buff to his continuous damage. Now, the continuous damage team altogether got a significant buff. Not only the characters within it, but also in general, having Fred added as a Big Hero 6 will be a nice addition, but we'll get to that later. Hades now applies continuous damage a lot more on his basic and abilities. He's going to have a plus 25% chance to inflict continuous damage. He's going to be able to do it a lot more on his basic, making Mortal Potion spread it faster, Overall, Hades was a big winner, not so much on the stat side. However, that will also be great as he needs a touch up on his offense, but abilities and Mortal Potion now is better than ever. You can safely go after Hades with confidence, but again, keep in mind, he is one of the harder heroes to gear up in this game. Let's look at Moana. Now, she is going to be quite simple. All of her abilities got some nice touch-ups. The Oceanic Wave is going to take until T8 to get the most potential out of there. However, let's talk about smacking those paddles, baby. Moana can hit like an absolute truck. Her basic on critical hits is like through the roof. Looking at 10k hits, 9k hits, and she can hit twice if slow is on the opponent. So you're going to be seeing some massive damage from Moana no matter what move she does. This was the exact little bump that Moana needed to kind of creep back up into Oceanic squads as she was losing out to Stitch and some other heroes. Very excited that Moana got this buff, and it is a game changer when it comes to her damage. Elsa might have people surprised that she's not on the top 10 list, but let me just explain. She got great buffs. She's a solid hero. Not much changes to the stats. Show Yourself should be an instant upgrade for most of you guys, and her basic now has a 10% more damage per helpful effect on her when she is empowered. So try to get Elsa empowered as quickly as possible. It's bonkers that they updated Frozen, but it's nice that they're not completely left behind, other than Kristoff, which we're happy about because screw Kristoff, he's annoying. And the last hero on the first 10 list that, again, these are in no specific order, is going to be Randall Boggs. Now, Randall across the board got a lot of nice treatment. First of all, he got a great speed boost. I believe he got +7 speed. Second, both of his specs got +50% damage increase. Now, I know that doesn't seem anything sexy, but trust me, +50 damage is a great addition. Now, his passive, he can now stealth for 2 turns. However, that is locked behind gear 8, like we talked about. And Randall is making more and more headway in DSA. Put some tactics on him and watch him do some crazy things with his basic ability. I'm going to be going after Randall more, and the Fear teams altogether got a nice upgrade. Now let's go. Here are your random 10. Let's get to the top 10. Guys, these are the top 10 characters that got the biggest benefit from the ability changes. Let's kick off this top 10 list, starting out with Manta Core. Now, I'm going to just explain this graphic really quick. You can see the speed increase right there. That is going to be how much they gain with their new T7.5 gear. You also have all the abilities right there. If it's highlighted in yellow, this is a big change. If it's black, it's a pretty good change. And if it's red, it is locked behind that T8 gear that we do not have access to yet. Now, the thing with Manta Core and the big boost that she got is all in her passive. Now, you can see it added +10% speed meter increase. Well, what does that mean exactly? Well, looking at her entire passive, every single time an onward character gets hit, Manta Core is now going to gain 20% speed turn meter. So if you got an AoE at the beginning of the battle and Barley and Ian were both damaged, 40% speed turn meter is going to Manta Core. Now this is going to disrupt strictly going after people like Ian and shutting down the whole team, or Barley, because Manta Core is going to keep getting those turns, putting on taunts, stuns, continuous damage, and helpful effects to her allies. This is the exact change that Manta Core needed, and I am all for it, as she was a little bit of the missing link. Now, the only problem with the mythical beast is, where is she? We haven't seen Manta Core in a while, and hopefully Glue puts her back in or into a farmable spot sometime in the near future. Now, we could not have made this list without mentioning a character that got it pretty much a kit upgrade altogether, and that is the Big Bad Wolf. Now, first of all, he got a speed increase of 7. He is a slow damage dealer that needed a breath of fresh air to his speed stat, so that 7 stat is going to be a big change. Looking at his basic, he is the frozen killer. He is the hero killer between both his basic and his passive. He does way more against hero enemies. Now, the one thing that is a little bit of a bummer is I loved what they did with his in sheep clothing ability, where if he kills someone, he gets an extra turn. We did a little bit of theory crafting on this stream, and if you put like Sean Yu, BB Dubs, Moana, and some of these extra, if they kill someone, they get an extra turn, like Zerg. And it was like this crazy theory craft team, but we're not going to be able to see it just yet because this is going to have to wait till T8. Again, if you guys want to join the stream, feel free to look down in the description. That is actually why I'm wearing this crazy shirt, because it was Party Friday and we just went through all of the big Hero 6 characters. Now let's go ahead and look at what happened to his kit. If you see, he gained a 30% chance to perform an extra attack if the target is a hero character. the big one, his Huff and Puff ability now purges taunt. And Cozy Club, we've talked about it. There is not a lot in this game that can get away from taunt. Now, way back when, there was some spells, but now it's really just Barley, Mortal Potion. There's just not a lot out there. And adding this to a great attacker like BBW is absolutely huge. Now, lastly, let's look at his passive. 10% damage dealt against hero characters in general. Just slap that on top. This is going to be great against Kristoff, those full frozen teams. And a lot of the meta is hero characters. I can see Big Bad Wolf being a great early and safe investment for free-to-play players. Now, coming in at number 8 is a character that we just talked about on a video not too long ago about being one of the best characters in the game that nobody really talks about, and that is Gizmo Duck. Now, quick plug, if you guys haven't seen both my Club Conquest video and the best trio and duos, those are great videos that are going to help you a lot in your DSA journey. Check those out. But Gizmo, my friends, was already a great character, and now he is even better. I can't believe that he got the treatment. The rich keep getting richer, and let's look and see what they changed. Now, he didn't get those speed increase like we talked about, but his basic attack now is going to have a plus 20% chance to perform a follow-up attack. Now, for those of you that don't know, Gizmo Duck can purge helpful effects every single time that he does his basic attack with the second hit. If he does an additional hit, he'll be purging helpful effects. That can be taunt, that can be harmful immunity, you name it. It's going to be great against Frozen. Now, looking at this, it's going to be adding a plus 20% chance, upping that amount way more, seeing a lot more purges. His taunt ability, I Am Gizmo Duck. We talked about this being great to pair with Scrooge Mcduck. But not only that, guys, this ability was already crazy, and it just got a little bit or a lot of bit crazier. Let's talk about it. Now, when Gizmo does his taunt, he will be doing +1 to all of the helpful effects on Scrooge, also granting random magic to one adjacent ally and one random tech ally. You upgrade this, and it is now 2 tech allies. We got a lot of new tech with Big Hero 6. This is an absolute ridiculous upgrade, and Gizmo is going to continue to be an S tier character. Now, his blind ability got plus 50% damage, which it did get a little bit of a nerf when it came to being used with Hero, but now that Hero is with BH6, you should be seeing a lot more leads for Gizmo Duck. The 2 red abilities are T8, so let's move on over to number 7. Now, I feel like Shan Yu makes every top 10, top anything list I come out with. He's good in just about everything, and guess what? They made sure he's going to be good moving forward, and his changes are bonkers, guys. Let's talk about it. First of all, his basic attack is going to do plus 25% more to chain to an adjacent opponent. Very nice little upgrade with some great damage. Now, his first ability, Now It's Your Turn. It was already a hard-hitting, turn meter removing, really what he's known for ability. They just added on it. When he does successfully kill someone, he'll be gaining crit chance up. This one is a no-brainer. Upgrade this to get your Shan Yu train rolling even faster. Now, his Hawk got a flat 50% damage increase. The last thing Shan Yu needed was more damage, and look, he got it. And really, with the Hawk, he was decreasing that turn meter out on a flank and grow, but now you'll be doing that as well as laying down some big hits. Now, Shan Yu long has been known for having one of the best leaderships in the game, giving speed to a lot of the Kingdom faction, and they decided to bump it up a bit. And let's look into it. He's going to have a 30% chance now for all Kingdom characters to gain offense up any single time an opponent is defeated. Oof. This is just what Kingdom needed to stay in the meta a little bit longer. We've talked about it. Kingdom is going to continue to stay in the meta just by having the Great Kingdom tag, which so many new characters will have that coming in. But now with this lead, it guarantees them to keep on staying. Guys, Kingdom as a whole got a lot better. If you look at the whole Aladdin squad across the board, they got a lot better. Robin Hood is an absolute unit with a call up with his guaranteed crit is now giving himself turn meter. Altogether, Kingdom is an even more safe option to keep going for free to play. All right, hang with me, Cozy Club. We got 6 more left. Looking at Scrooge Mcduck. I cannot believe that they gave Scrooge Mcduck some buffs. Now, Scrooge is already one of the best plug-and plays within DSA. He's going to be sticking around for quite some time. They added a +1 to his minimum chain amount, which instead of just going on the minimum of 1 time, he will now be doing 2 big hits, which you guys have seen the big hits. If you haven't, again, go check out the trio and duo episode. Now, looking at number 1 dime, it used to be a heads or tails flip of the coin, and you got attack up and haste, or a 50% chance for haste, or defense up. And if you got defense up, it was nice, but again, you didn't get 2 buffs. But now, either side of the coin, you're getting yourself a great buff. They have added harmful effect immunity to Scrooge, and why this is so big is because harmful effect immunity is not a buff that you see out there a lot, and so stacking this with his rows of helpful effects is only going to have him do more damage, and he now can get silence and things like that less. Now, the last 2 things to talk about is his basic got a nice little addition to hit more, and he got a 7 speed boost. One of the last characters that needed a speed boost. He does have lackluster speed at 105. He's now rocking the 112 and 116. I saw a lot of characters hit that. But anyway, speed or no speed, Scrooge is an absolute unit, and you can farm him with confidence. We got 5 more left, and it is Dr. Facilitate. Now, Doctor, you guys already know he's the king of tower. He was great in a lot of different game modes, but he was falling off in the in-game for sure. Right out the gate, let's call attention to the plus 14 speed buff to his stats. That's going to help him be way more competitive, and his kit has so many different abilities that can help control the battlefield that Doctor getting speed was essential to make him a much better character. The downtown villains altogether are a lot better. Now let's look at what the Doc can do. Now, first of all, he'll be great throughout your entire DSA journey, but his basic now has a chance to throw a skull card, which essentially a skull card is going to auto-delete a PvE opponent. So anyone that is not a player playing the game, and if you're in a PvP battle, it will be doing significant damage, great increase to the basic, and now he's got the charm, he's got the death card, he's looking a lot better. His force taunt is a clutch ability that you can use on people like Maui to force taunts and make the enemy go after someone. Him being faster is going to have him putting taunts out quite quickly, and if you don't have a tank on your team, or you want to go all offense, guns a-blazing, you can go ahead and put a force taunt and kind of have a fake tank for a while. Now, he has his polymorph ability that we know is amazing. Again, he'll be able to put this out faster on the battlefield. Probably going to be a great way to shut down people like Baymax that we're starting to see creep into the meta. However, polymorph is going to be under T8, which is going to reduce the defense reduction when they are a frog. Lastly, his healing passive and leader got nice buff ups. Altogether, the Doctor got a great treatment. You should farm him. He's a great one. Moving to number 4 is Emperor Zerg. And guys, I'm actually not mad that Emperor Zerg got all of these buffs. I'm glad to see him stay within this meta, but what is crazy to me is that Zerg himself got a speed boost and damage flat across the board. He got plus 30% damage in his basic, plus 20% in Zerg vision, and his passive, a massive plus 50% when he starts his turn. So right away, hero to Zerg, get the passive out there, and then eliminate with Zerg vision. Zerg is a must-have hero and is in one of the best team comps in the game without question. Zerg was quick and easy. He is a damage dealer in the truest form of the fashion. He got his damage increase and speed. Let's move on to the top 3. Coming in at number 3, I've been excited to tell the world about Merlin. Now, Merlin has to have a lot more testing, and now before Big Hero 6, it was a lot more sexy, not quite as much. Let's talk about why Merlin has made it into the top 3 best benefited characters from these new ability changes at T7.5. Merlin was a very slow character, now got a plus 14 speed increase. That's going to help get out those abilities a lot quicker. His basic has a 50% chance to do more defense down. Now let's talk about the big ability here. He's got a 50% chance to cleanse up to 2 harmful effects on all of your teammates. Now, Baymax just came out and he has that massive cleanse now, so that's going to be the new cleanser. However, being able to cleanse up to 2 harmful effects on all of your teammates is huge. I've been using it with Oceanics that like to get sleeped and silenced a lot from the enemy, and this can instantly turn the battle. It's one of the betas that I have invested in. Now, this move already decreases cooldowns by 3 and grants tactics. It's a perfect fit for the Oceanic and Mythical squads. Now, with his second ability, plus 50%, we've talked about it. That is great across the board. And for his passive, 3% bonus spell charge gained per mythic teammate, and at level 3, a 10% chance to activate this and get the spell charge going a lot quicker. Merlin was a big winner. Let's move on to the last 2 big winners, and that is Barley. And guys, I have been talking about Barley on all of these different videos, how he is one of the most slept on supports within DSA, and he just got a hell of a lot better. Let's talk about it. Now, his basic attack is going to call, now it was 2 heroes to assist him. That has moved up to 3. If you add in people like Moana and Stitch, both have devastating basic attacks. Barley can call all 3 allies to do basic attacks on the enemy. This is going to be absolutely ridiculous the more and more we see it. Combine this with Manta Core, Ian, and now Barley, and the Onward trio is just looking a hell of a lot better. Judy was a great addition as well. However, a lot of her stuff is T8 locked, so I left her off the list. Also, to point out, you got a fat plus 14 speed on one of the best supports in the game. That, without a question, is what Barley was missing. He was just fat and slow, let's face it. And now he is questing to his heart's delight and punishing the enemy. Also, why he made this number 2 spot is his ability Gwynevere had the chance to decrease cooldowns on all magic abilities of an entire flanking row. Now, this had a 30% chance, and now we are looking at a flip of a coin, a 45% chance. Absolutely amazing. Barley is a must upgrade. Not to mention his passive got a bump up. Invest in Barley with confidence. And for the last character, are you surprised? It is the Papa Gantu. Now, I cannot talk about Gantu enough, guys. Gantu is an absolute legend of a character. He can just dominate the battlefield pretty much by himself with his massive AoEs. He's got a mass slow. He's got great damage, fast cooldowns, an extremely hard-hitting counter, and all of that I just mentioned just got buffed up. So the thing about Gantu was he had 104 speed on top of the Oceanics being so slow already. Sometimes by the time he even got a turn, the rest of your team was dead and they could just ignore Gantu. However, Cozy Club, the number 1 benefiting character in DSA from this patch got plus 14 speed added on to that 104, and he is now at a 118. 118 is as fast as Jasmine. It's as fast as a lot of these kingdom characters, and yes, he won't be under a lead that has speed. However, this is an absolute huge amount of speed to add to such a big damage dealer. Now, looking at his basic, he's going to be gaining 5% health every single time he counterattacks while he has tactics. Very nice thing to have onto a tank with already a lot of health, keeping him alive a lot longer. Now, his first ability, Abomination, now has a 45% chance, like I keep saying, flip of a coin, to put slow on all of the enemies, guys. Lastly, let's talk about the ability that I just can't wrap my head around. Galactic Armada. Now, Galactic Armada, I sworn would have been a T8 exclusive. However, T7.5, you can add a flat 50% damage increase to one of the hardest hitting abilities in DSA. No matter what Gantu does, he's going to be viable in the battlefield. He's going to be super fast, high damage, slowing the characters down, countering and protecting and off hyper tanking your team. Absolute unit. And once he gets to T8, he'll get even more offense. Guys, I'm thinking Gantu will be sticking in the meta even when you see Stitch on opponents' teams, because yes, Stitch can counter him a lot with all these charges he'll be gaining. But Gantu, without question, benefited the most from this patch. And Cozy Club, that is going to be it for this video. You've got the top 20. I know this was a long one, but I wanted to cover all of the characters that all came in and got new abilities. These are going to be the ones that benefited the most from T7.5. Yes, you still have all the S tier characters that are still very good. Just because someone didn't make this list and they're high up on the tier list doesn't mean they fell. It just simply means that these characters on the list definitely benefited the most. With Big Hero 6 looking to dominate the meta for the foreseeable future, it is going to be time for us to theory craft more than ever. And so with these new abilities, as we get beta runes, we can test and see exactly who does the best with their new ability kits. We'll be testing it on stream, as always, talking about it in the Discord. Feel free to join either. And until next time, Cozy Club, stay cozy, my friends.